In the quiet, picturesque town of Ravenshade, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, an unsettling phenomenon began to unfold. Stone gargoyles, silent sentinels that had adorned the town's rooftops for centuries, suddenly came to life in the dead of night. The once stoic statues now moved with an eerie fluidity, their stony wings unfolding and eyes glowing an unnatural shade of red. The townspeople were initially oblivious to the impending horror. It began innocuously enough. A few residents reported strange noises echoing through the night, akin to the scrape of stone against stone. Others claimed to have seen shadows flitting across moonlit rooftops. But as the nights wore on, the truth emerged in horrifying clarity. It started with the Howards, a family of 5 who lived in a quaint Victorian house on Elm Street. The patriarch, Charles Howard, awoke in the middle of the night to a strange scratching sound. Peering through his bedroom window, he was met with the chilling sight of the stone gargoyle atop his roof twisting and contorting, its eyes locked onto his. Unable to comprehend the unearthly sight before him, Charles watched in terror as the gargoyle leaped from the roof and descended upon his home. The creature's wings stretched wide, casting an ominous shadow over the Howard residence. Before Charles could react, the gargoyle lunged at him with razor-sharp claws, ending his life in a gruesome spectacle. News of the Howard family's grisly demise spread through Ravenshade like wildfire, sending shockwaves of fear and disbelief throughout the tight-knit community. The town's once idyllic atmosphere gave way to an overwhelming sense of dread as the stone gargoyles continued to awaken, their malevolent presence spreading like a plague. As the night sky became a canvas for these grotesque creatures, the townspeople barricaded themselves indoors, fearing the wrath of the stone fiends. But the gargoyles were relentless in their pursuit, seemingly drawn to the scent of human fear. Each night brought new tales of horror, as families were torn apart and homes were transformed into macabre scenes of death. Ravenshade's church, once a symbol of solace and sanctuary, became a battleground for survival. The remaining townspeople gathered within its sacred walls, desperately seeking refuge from the stone monstrosities that hunted them. The once pious sanctuary now echoed with the anguished cries of those who had lost loved ones to the relentless onslaught. The town's elders delved into ancient manuscripts and dusty tomes, searching for any clue to the origin of this cursed affliction. Legend spoke of a long-forgotten ritual, a pact with dark forces that bound the stone gargoyles to the town. Desperation gripped the survivors as they realized the only way to break the curse was to unravel the mysteries of the past. A group of courageous individuals emerged, determined to confront the malevolent force that had gripped their once peaceful town. Armed with fragments of forgotten lore and makeshift weapons, they ventured into the heart of Ravenshade, where an ancient cemetery stood as the epicenter of the curse. As the group approached the crumbling gravestones and weathered mausoleums, the ground trembled beneath their feet. The stone gargoyles, now a legion of grotesque figures, emerged from the shadows, their eyes ablaze with malevolence. A battle ensued, with the townspeople fighting for their lives against the cursed creatures that had once adorned their homes. In the midst of the chaos, a chilling figure materialized from the swirling mist. A cloaked figure, hunched and with eyes that glowed like embers, stepped forward. The townspeople recoiled in horror as they realized that this enigmatic figure was the architect of their suffering. The cloaked figure revealed himself as Emmerich Blackthorn, a sorcerer from centuries past who had made a dark pact to protect Ravenshade. However, the power he sought came at a terrible cost, the lives of the townspeople, sacrificed to animate the stone gargoyles and fulfill his insatiable thirst for immortality. Driven by remorse and the weight of centuries of guilt, Emmerich Blackthorn offered the townspeople a choice: to sever the curse that bound the stone gargoyles to Ravenshade, or succumb to the relentless onslaught of his monstrous creations. With a heavy heart, the survivors accepted the burden of breaking the curse. Guided by Emmerich's ancient knowledge, the townspeople embarked on a perilous quest to gather artifacts and perform a ritual that would banish the curse once and for all. As they navigated through hidden chambers and faced otherworldly challenges, the stone gargoyles pursued them with a relentless determination. The climax of the ritual unfolded in the heart of the cursed cemetery, where the survivors faced a final confrontation with the stone gargoyles. The air crackled with magical energy as the townspeople chanted the incantation, their voices drowning out the unearthly screams of the cursed creatures. In a blinding flash of light, the stone gargoyles crumbled to dust, their twisted forms dissolving into the night. The curse that had plagued Ravenshade for centuries lifted, leaving behind a town scarred by the horrors of the supernatural. Emmerich Blackthorn, free from the shackles of his dark pact, faded into the shadows, his ethereal form dissipating like mist. As dawn broke over Ravenshade, the survivors emerged from the cemetery, battered and bruised but victorious. The once silent town now bore the scars of a nightmarish ordeal, its streets echoing with the haunting memories of the stone gargoyles that had come to life and claimed the lives of its inhabitants. Ravenshade would never be the same again, forever haunted by the chilling tale of the stone gargoyles that turned from silent guardians to merciless killers in the blink of an eye. The survivors, united by the shared trauma of that fateful night, vowed to rebuild their shattered lives and erase the spectral echoes of the cursed past that lingered in the shadows of Ravenshade. Years passed, and the once quiet town of Ravenshade struggled to recover from the traumatic events that had befallen it. The survivors had rebuilt their homes and attempted to move on, but the scars of that night lingered like a specter in every corner of the town. The once thriving community had become a shadow of its former self, haunted by the memories of the stone gargoyles and the unspeakable horrors they had unleashed. Despite the passage of time, some residents found it difficult to shake off the paranoia that had settled into the fabric of Ravenshade. The mere sight of a stone statue or the sound of scraping against rooftops would send shivers down their spines, a constant reminder of the malevolent force that had once plagued their lives. Whispers of the cursed night echoed through the town streets, creating a chilling folklore that parents used to warn their children against wandering out after dark. Old-timers would gather in hushed circles, recounting the harrowing tales of the stone gargoyles that had come to life, ensuring that the memory of that dreadful night would be etched into the town's history for generations to come. In the quiet hours of the night, some claimed to hear faint echoes of otherworldly whispers carried by the wind. It was said that the spirits of the stone gargoyles lingered in the shadows, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. These spectral remnants were a constant reminder that the past could not be erased entirely, and Ravenshade would forever bear the mark of the supernatural tragedy that had unfolded within its boundaries. As the town attempted to rebuild both physically and emotionally, a new generation grew up with a sense of caution ingrained in their consciousness. They heard the cautionary tales from their elders, warning them to respect the ancient forces that governed the town. The once thriving tourism industry that had attracted visitors to Ravenshade dwindled, as outsiders were hesitant to venture into a place tainted by the macabre. Yet, amidst the lingering darkness, a subtle hope emerged. The survivors who had faced the stone gargoyles head-on were united by a shared resilience. They formed a tight-knit community, bound not only by the trauma they had endured, but also by the determination to reclaim their town. In an effort to heal the wounds that had scarred Ravenshade, the survivors organized annual remembrance ceremonies. These events, held in the town square, were a somber tribute to the lives lost and a collective vow to never forget the horrors of that night. The town's memorial, adorned with names of the fallen, stood as a silent testament to the strength of those who had faced the supernatural onslaught. Over time, Ravenshade became known not only for its tragic past but also for its resilience and the unwavering spirit of its people. The survivors, though forever changed, found solace in the unity forged through adversity. The stone gargoyles that had once terrorized the town were reduced to tales told around campfires, gradually losing their grip on the collective psyche of Ravenshade. As the years passed, the town learned to live with its haunted history, embracing the duality of its existence. Ravenshade, once cursed by the malevolent forces that had animated the stone gargoyles, became a symbol of strength, survival, and the indomitable human spirit that could rise from the darkest depths of despair. The stone gargoyles, now a distant memory, were relegated to the realm of legend, forever entwined with the town's complex narrative of tragedy and triumph. One fateful autumn evening, a group of teenagers, curious and undeterred by the town's ominous reputation, decided to explore Ravenshade's dark past. Armed with flashlights and fueled by teenage bravado, they ventured into the abandoned cemetery where the final battle with the stone gargoyles had unfolded. The air hung heavy with an otherworldly stillness as the group navigated through the overgrown pathways, the moon casting an eerie glow on the weathered tombstones. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a tangible reminder of the town's haunted legacy. As they reached the heart of the cemetery, the group stumbled upon the remnants of the ritual that had banished the stone gargoyles. The ancient markings and faded symbols etched into the ground spoke of a struggle that had taken place long ago. Intrigued, the teenagers exchanged uneasy glances but pressed on, determined to unravel the secrets that lingered in the night. Suddenly, a chill swept through the air, and the temperature dropped drastically. The once quiet graveyard echoed with whispers that seemed to dance on the edge of perception. The group, now paralyzed by a mixture of fear and fascination, felt an otherworldly presence surround them. From the shadows emerged a spectral figure, clad in a tattered cloak and bathed in an ethereal glow. The apparition revealed itself to be Imric Blackthorn, the long-lost sorcerer who had orchestrated the dark pact that had ensnared Ravenshade. With a voice that echoed through the ages, Imric spoke of regret and redemption. He explained that the curse, though lifted, had left an indelible mark on the town, tying its fate to the supernatural. The teenagers, spellbound by the tale, listened as Imric offered a chance for the town to find true closure. Imric revealed the existence of an ancient artifact hidden within the depths of Ravenshade's forest, a mystical crystal that held the residual energy of the stone gargoyles. If the artifact were found and destroyed in a sacred ritual, the lingering spirits would find peace, and Ravenshade could finally break free from the shadows that bound it. Empowered by a newfound purpose, the group embarked on a quest to locate the mystical crystal. Their journey led them through dense woods and forgotten landmarks, where the supernatural remnants of the past seemed to converge. The once burdened town, now on the cusp of a new era, watched as the teenagers braved the unknown in pursuit of redemption. As the group reached the heart of the forest, they uncovered the hidden artifact, a radiant crystal pulsating with an otherworldly energy. The air crackled with anticipation as they prepared for the ritual that would sever the final ties to the cursed past. Under the moonlit sky, surrounded by the ancient trees, the teenagers chanted the incantation they had discovered in Imric's spectral presence. The mystical crystal glowed intensely, absorbing the residual energy of the stone gargoyles. A brilliant burst of light engulfed the forest, casting away the shadows that had clung to Ravenshade for centuries. In that transformative moment, the town felt a profound shift. The haunting whispers faded, replaced by a gentle breeze that rustled through the leaves. Ravenshade, once shackled by the curse, was reborn. Word of the teenagers' courageous quest spread throughout the town, and Ravenshade began to shed its haunted reputation. The once deserted streets teemed with life, and the community flourished as a newfound sense of hope and unity took root. The cemetery, once a symbol of tragedy, became a place of reflection and remembrance. The town's memorial, weathered by time, now bore an additional inscription, a tribute to the teenagers who, in their quest for redemption, had freed Ravenshade from the lingering specter of the stone gargoyles. As the years passed, the tale of Ravenshade's resilience became a source of inspiration. The town transformed into a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest corners of history, a community could rise above its haunted past and carve a new destiny. The stone gargoyles, now nothing more than a distant memory, faded into the annals of legend, their malevolent legacy replaced by the enduring spirit of Ravenshade's redemption.
Like, subscribe, and click on notifications that will allow you to stay up to date with the news and not miss videos from the channel, where there will be many more horror stories.